Okay, good day to everyone. Uh, our topic for today is all about Module 8, the metabolic processes in animals. So in this module, we have different types of learning objectives na we should address at we should gain after this discussion. Number one is to identify the different types of exchange. In animal po, we have different types of gas exchange that we're going to tackle later on. Secondly, describe each parts and roles of digestive system. So, si digestive system, lagi niyang kapartner parate si metabolic processes, which is most commonly nababanggit ko na si metabolism from our previous discussion. And then thirdly, explain different diseases related to circulatory system. So that our three main objective for this topic. Now, first, let us know what is metabolism. So when we say metabolism, it is a set of life-sustaining chemical processes occur within the cell of our organism. So metabolism allows organism to survive and maintain the function of their organ system, enables organism to grow, reproduce, maintain their structure, and respond to their environment. So, ang main purpose talaga ni metabolism is to sustain our life po, or daily life activities. So, lagi niyang kapartner si digestive system kasi when we intake certain foods, i-break down po iyon. That is the process of metabolism, which is gaining of energy. So, through that, kapag nagkakaroon tayo ng energy sa katawan natin, definitely, mas nagpa-function yung body natin to address certain activities na meron tayo in daily lives po. So, again, we have two types of metabolism, catabolism and anabolism. So, to easily understand what is the big differences with the two. So when we say catabolism, it breaks down large molecules into smaller ones and release energy in the process. Now, ganito po kasi pag sinabing catabolism. So as you can see in the picture, meron tayong large molecules na nakikita. Sometimes tinatawag natin siya as polymers. Si catabolism po, i-break down niya yon into smaller ones. While doing breaking down, nagre-release po tayo ng energy. Again po, ang pinaka-ideal po kasi in chemistry po, since we are in biochemistry, the more the molecules is complex or larger, the more na hindi stabilize yung mismong energy nila. And to make it stabilize, it needs to be broken down into smaller pieces. Kasi nga, the more na small lang siya, the more na mas stable or mas mainam or mas madaling ma-stabilize yung energy na meron siya. So, that's why kapag narinig natin yung term na catabolism, it breaks down large molecules into smaller pieces, and then it also release energy as the byproduct. While when we said naman po as anabolism, it uses energy to build up the chemical components of the cell. So baliktad naman po, kung si catabolism po ay nag-release ng energy at nag-breakdown, si anabolism po nag-build up naman po siya at kailangan niya ng certain energy para makapag-build ng isang compound. Sir, bakit po natin kailangan ng anabolism? First, kailangan natin siya with regards to DNA replications. Again po, pag bin-breakdown po natin yung mismong protein natin, that is amino acid. So, for example, in DNA structure. So, magre-replicate yung DNA natin, so we need to have another set of strands po ng codons. Yung GCAT, yung guanine, thymine, adenine, and cytosine. Now, through that, kailangan natin mag-undergo ng anabolism process. Kasi bago po tayo makapagbuo ng isang codon, like guanine, it needs to have 20 nucleotides rather. So, yung 20 nucleotides po na yun, binubuo po yun ng hundreds of amino acids. Now, si amino acids, pwede natin siyang makuha kay protein. So, through that, para mabuo o makapagbuo tayo ng isang certain organism or makapag-build up tayo, we need anabolism process. So, malaki po yung vital role ng dalawang types of metabolism na meron tayo sa loob ng katawan natin. Yung isa is taga-sira or taga-breakdown, and yung isa naman po is yung mismong taga-ayos to maintain and sustain the balance with our body system po. So again po, pag sinabi pong catabolism, ito po ay breaking downs of larger molecules into smaller. And then kapag sinabi naman pong anabolism, it's building up small molecules or small unit of molecules to larger one. So again, pag sinabing catabolism, nagre-release po tayo ng energy, while kapag sinabi naman pong anabolism, kinakailangan natin ng energy para makapag-build up ng certain compounds or larger molecules. So another way to identify the different functions again, una, for the function of catabolism, breaking down of polysaccharides into monosaccharides to generate energy. So again, as you can see in the picture, that is polymers, or tinatawag din natin siya as polysaccharide kapag ito ay in sugar form naman po, kapag larger ones na. So si polysaccharides, i-break down nyo yun into monosaccharides. In sugar po kasi, meron tayong different classification of sugar. Meron tayong mono, di, and polysaccharides. Pag sinabi pong monosaccharides, kinocompose lang po ito ng simple sugar or one sugar or one sets of monosaccharides ng sugar. Pag sinabi naman pong disaccharides, kinocompose po ito ng dalawang monosaccharides. Pag sinabi naman pong polysaccharides, kinocompose ito ng 3 to 5 or 10 or hundreds of monosaccharides. That is polysaccharides. Now, sa catabolism, yung polysaccharides i-break down into monosaccharides to generate energy. Another way po that can function catabolism is breakdown of nucleic acid into nucleotides for transmitting genetic information, which is happen during DNA replications. And thirdly, this breakdown of proteins into amino acids either to make new ones or new produce glucose in the bloods. And then lastly, breakdown of foods in the stomach for the nutrients to be absorbed in the blood vessel. So, yung kinakain natin, kapag yan ay nadurog during chewing process, nagkaroon ng salivary, that is the start of catabolism process, which is kino-convert na yon into smaller pieces hanggang sa matira na lang is yung mga vitamins, nutrients na kailangan ng katawan natin at i-absorb. Well, the main function naman po ni anabolism, so next one is first, building proteins, large complex molecules from amino acids like simple molecules. Nangyayari po yan during anabolism process. Again po, sa DNA, pag bin-breakdown natin or kinatabolize natin si protein, that what we call, magkakaroon tayo ng amino acids. Now, gagamitin natin si amino acid naman para makapagbuo tayo ng nucleotides or 20 sets of nucleotides, nakakailanganin nating nucleotides na yun para makapagbuo tayo ng sets of glucon. Codons po pala. The next one po, cell reproduction, where cells multiply to increase tissue or organ size. And then thirdly is to mineralize of bones from inorganic substance. And lastly, production of hormones necessary for certain organs to perform their function. So we have different kinds of hormones. Kaya hindi tayo nauubusan like ng sex hormones or mga steroids sa katawan. At because of anabolism. So now let's talk about what is nutrients. So nutrients is the substance that the animal's body uses for growth, maintain, and repair are known as nutrients. The major nutrients are carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, vitamins, minerals, and water. So, si nutrients po or nutrition, siya yung kinakailangan natin sa araw-araw para makapag-perform yung katawan natin with regards to our vital role in everyday activities na meron tayo. So, kung tayo ay kulang sa nutrisyon, kino-consider tayo as malnutrients, then definitely may mga side effects yon. Minsan nagiging dizzy or nahihilo. So yun po, may mga sakit na kaakibat yon if with regards na nagkulang tayo with regards to nutrients na kailangan natin everyday. Now let's talk about human digestive system. Sir, bakit po kailangan natin pag-aralin si human digestive system? So again po, we are in metabolism or metabolic processes. Definitely po, si human digestive system is part din po ng metabolism process. So, what is ingestion? So, ang digestive system po ay nag-i-start with regards to ingestion. When we say ingestion, it is a process wherein we take foods, like eating foods po, under our stomachs. So, the process by which animals take foods is called ingestion. So, yung pagkain natin, that's what we call ingestion. However, the animal's body cannot use the energy in food until it has gone through digestion and absorption. So, yung pagkain natin ng mga pagkain na yan, yung pagsubong natin sa bunganga natin, pag-chewing, that is part of ingestion. Pero, hindi kagad natin siya magagamit yung energy na nandoon unless nag-undergo na siya with regards to digestion process. So, yun po yung second part ni metabolism, ni digestion. So, next one po is digestion, is the process in which the ingested food is broken down into simple substance that can be absorbed by the body, take place in two phases. It's either mechanical and chemical. So, the process of digestion start with regards to chewing. So, that is mechanical. So, chewing starts the breakdown down of foods. Chewing is important in digestive process because smaller pieces of foods can be processed more easily during chemical digestion. This is mechanical process pa lang po when we say chewing. Ibig sabihin, panga pa lang ang gumagamit sa atin. Wala pang mga other chemical na nire-release from our body. Especially kasi ang chemical process kasi most commonly nangyayari siya inside to our pancreas, which is meron dong gas liquids na napaka-acidic, which is yun po yung nagbo-broken down ng mga na-ingest natin pagkain. So digestions begin as the ingested food mixed with the saliva, which contain the enzyme called ptyalin or ptyalin. This enzyme break down the food as it acts on the carbohydrates in it. So, chemical digestion, the process the food such as away the nutrients is contained can be absorbed into small intestine using catalytic process po called enzyme. So, most commonly nangyayari to during part na na-intake na natin yung pagkain, pumasok na sa esophagus, then diretso na siya sa pancreas. Now, si pancreas may contain siya na pH level or acid level, which is yun po yung breakdown ng mga molecules dun po sa pagkain na in-intake natin during the ingestion process. So, enzyme po, napakalaking tulong na enzyme kasi pinapabilis niya po yung chemical process ng katawan natin. Kasi hindi pa pwedeng mabagal yung digestions. We have several energy na kailangan nating sustain. So, definitely dapat yung process is napakabilis. So, nandito sa enzyme para tumulong sa loob ng katawan natin. So, catalytic proteins called enzymes are the chemicals in the animal's body that break down foods into nutrients. So, the nutrients are then distributed to the different parts of the body through the blood. So, once na okay na, na-digest na, dadaan na yun sa small intestine, after ng large intestines hanggang sa mapunta na po siya sa blood. Now, kapag nasa blood na po siya, papasok na dito yung mismong circulatory system natin, which is may kinalaman na siya sa respiratory system. So, si blood po kasi, the more na nagpa-pump yung heart natin, the more na nagta-transport yung mga blood natin with different veins or vessels natin. At dun po natatransfer yung mismong nutrients. Kasi dala-dala ni blood, yung nutrients na kailangan natin at kailangan ng cells sa iba't ibang parte ng katawan natin. So how does digestion happen? Una, mag-ingestion muna tayo, which is yung mismong chewing process. So digestion start even before you take the first bite of food. So habang kumakain ka, kahit unang kagat mo yan, nag-i-start na po yung mismong digestion process natin. Kasi yung saliva natin nasasama na doon sa mismong kinakain natin, which is during chewing process. As per the research, ang human body can produce 1.5 liters of saliva every day. So, ganun po siya dami. Next, your chew up would move from your mouth to your esophagus. Your esophagus use a process known as peristalsis. Pag sinabi po kasing peristalsis po, ito yung process kung saan papunta na sa mismong pancreas, yung mismong pagkain natin. So, siya yung muscle contraction na nagtitrigger out. So, your stomach release acid and enzyme that break down foods. And next, your small intestines turn semi-solid food into fluid to absorb nutrients. Then your pancreas and liver help by sending digestive juice to your small intestine, to your gallbladder. And then the final step is when your small intestine send leftover food waste to your large intestine, that food waste become poo that leaves your body via your rectum and your anus. Now, sa 5 stages po kasi dito na mangyayari kung saan matatransfer yung mismong bile of nutrients sa ating red blood vessels. Again, sa digestive system, we have different parts. Yung mouth and cavity, dyan po nag-i-start yung mismong chewing process or yung ingestion. Pharynx, esophagus, then liver, stomach, pancreas, gallbladder, large intestine, small intestine, the rectum, and then the anus. Okay, next one, let's proceed with the respiratory system. Now, kagaya ng sinabi ko kanina, nag-i-start ang metabolic process during digestion. So, kapag nag-intake tayo ng pagkain, definitely start na po yun ng digestion process during ingestion process po. Kasi mayroon tayong 2 types ingestion tsaka digestion process. Now, yung ingestion na yon, part doon si chewing hanggang sa mapunta na sa esophagus, umiral si peristalsis, at mapunta sa mismong stomach natin yung pagkain. So, doon na magpo-process yung chemical digestion or yung digestion process na mismo, which is yung kinain natin na chunk of foods na na-chew up or nadurog during chewing process ay idudurugin pa sa loob ng mismong stomach natin using the acid and then the enzyme. Now, yung enzyme na yon, matitira na lang kasi doon is yung semi-fluid na bile na tinatawag, which is contain niya yung mismong mga nutrients and vitamins na kailangan ng katawan natin. So, during small intestine process, kino-convert na yon sa mismong dugo natin. So, para mapunta yon sa other parts ng katawan natin, kinakailangan natin ng process ng respiratory system. So, respiratory system involves different kinds of gas exchange. So, definitely, dalawa lang to. sa loob ng katawan natin. Pag i-inhale tayo, definitely tayo ay nag-i-intake ng oxygen. While kapag nag-exhale naman, tayo ay nag-excrete ng carbon dioxide. So the physical process of taking in oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide is no breathing, which is papasok nga dito si inhalation and exhalation of gases called part kasi siya ng mismong respiration. So kung wala tayong gantong process, hindi natin siya masasabing respiration. In animals po, we have different ways on how gas exchange happen. So, meron tayong iba't iba. Meron tayong skin type na process kung saan yung certain animals, nagkakaroon sila ng gas exchange using their skin. So, tinatawag itong intergumentary system. So, animals that live in moist environments such as amphibians and worms breathe in oxygen through their moist skin. So, sa balat sila nagkakaroon ng gas exchange. While those aquatic animals naman, merong certain body parts na nagkakaroon ng gas exchange or kung saan nangyayari yung gas exchange nila, which is sa gill nila or sa mismong hasang. To promote the gas exchange, there are usually extension of outside membrane in most aquatic animals. The carbon dioxide in the animal's bloodstream also goes out through its gills. So, sa hasang po nangyayari most commonly sa mga aquatic animals. Next one naman po, meron tayong mga tracheal system. Most commonly nangyayari to sa mga insects. Gas exchange happen with some animals such as insects take place in trachea. These tubes have holes called spiracles that opens to the outside surface of their animal's body. And then lastly is yung lung system. Lahat po ng mammals ay through lung system po ang gas exchange. Hopefully, familiar na tayo kung paano nangyayari si gas exchange. So, gas exchange in lung system begins with air enter the lungs, passes through the bronchi, which is ito yung process kung saan nag-i-inhale tayo ng oxygen and moves to the alveoli. So, the oxygen in the air is dissolved by the water into alveoli and then passes through the capillaries before it diffuses into the bloodstream. So, pag na-infuse siya sa bloodstream, mangyayari yan during or sa mismong part ng lungs natin. Then, papasok yan sa left ventricles na or atrium natin, then left ventricles po ng heart natin. Tapos, diretso na po yun sa different parts of the body. Okay, note po, when you inhale, your rib cage expands and moves your diaphragm downward. This decreases the pressure around the lungs and draw air into your respiratory tracts. This type of ventilation is known as active breathing. While when we exhale naman, our ribs cage contracts and moves toward to your diaphragm upwards. This increases the pressure around your lungs and force air out of your respiratory tract. So this type of ventilation known as a passive breathing. So kapag tayo ay nag-i-inhale, that is active breathing. And then pag tayo naman po ay nag-exhale, exhale, tayo po ay in passive breathing form po. So there are some diseases related to gas exchange. Unang-una, si emphysema. It is a progressive destruction of air sacs in the lung and loss of membrane in the respiratory system. So most commonly, tinatawag natin siya as COPD or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Ikalawa po, si cystic fibrosis. It is an inherited disease that causes frequent lung infection because of mucus buildup. So ito po ay hindi siya namamana, but somehow because of certain infection or viruses na nangyayari. So the thick mucus cause coughing and then difficult in breathing. The lungs infection cause inflammations and that can lead to fibrosis or scratching. Scarring of the lungs tissue makes it thick and stiff po. And third one, yung most commonly is pneumonia. It is of inflammation of lungs, especially the alveoli or exudates. It is caused by bacterial and viral infection. So, meron tayong tinatawag na internal transport. An internal transport is one of the enables an organism to move particles into its body and with its the body system also enables the organism to remove unwanted particles from within the body. So, let's proceed with the circulatory system. Invertebrates po, pag sinabing vertebrates, ito yung may mga spinal cords or animals like mammals. The main transport system in the circulatory is which is made up of heart, blood, and blood vessels. Blood is the mixture of cells and gases, inorganic salts, minerals, organic nutrients, and waste product. Invertebrates naman po, hemoglobin or the other combination of blood and lymph is the transport system. The circulatory system transport materials throughout the body. Nutrients, water, and oxygen are transported to billions of body cells and wastes such as carbon dioxide carried away or removed from the body. But mainly, blood po talaga ang nag-a-act as transporter mismo nito. Kasi sa blood natin makukuha yung mga nutrients, then sa blood din nakalagay yung mga carbon dioxide. So, tinatawag natin yan as deoxygenated blood. So, meron tayong tinatawag na open circulatory. In an open circulatory system, the blood is not enclosed in blood vessel. It is pumped into cavity called hemocule. Then, we have closed circulatory system. In a closed circulatory system, blood is contained inside the blood vessel, circulating unidirectional or one direction from the heart around the systematic circulation route, then returning to the heart again. So, balik po tayo sa process ng mismong heart. Okay. Dito po kasi sa heart na makita natin, meron tayong makita ditong blue. What happened? Meron tayong makita sa side na to na blue, and this one is the blue. Okay, sa part po ng heart, meron lang tayong 4 na chamber. So, lagi po magkahiwalay sila. This is the right arterium and then the left arterium. The right veins and then the left ventricles. Now, sa process po ng pagpasok ng blood, etong part na to is ugat po ito, which is ito yung part kung saan yung ugat, yung mga blood natin from our upper part of our body, dito po siya papasok, papunta kay right arterium, which is deoxygenated pa yung mismong blood na yun, or wala pa pong oxygen. And then, this one naman po, nasa baba naman po na ugat, yan naman po yung mga blood kung saan nasa lower part po ng body natin, dito po sila papasok papunta sa right arterium. Now, kapag nandito na lahat, magkocontract yon to left vein. Then, pagkatapos noon, papasok po dito sa tube na to, and then afterwards, diretso po sa mismong lungs. Lalabas po iyon sa lungs po, ha? At once na po lumabas sa lungs, papasok po yun dito sa mismong left arterium natin, diretso dito sa left vein natin, then babalik po ulit at papasok po dito sa tatlong mga ugat nito, papunta diretso po sa mga other parts ng katawan natin. Again po, yung part na to sa left arterium and left vein po, yan po ay oxygenated process na. Ibig sabihin, yung mga blood na papasok dyan ay meron ng oxygen. So, na-convert na or na-deoxygenated na or na-oxygenated na ni alveoli during respiratory system process. Some diseases related to the circulatory system. Una is yung atherosclerosis. This is the leading cause of heart attack. It is the buildup of plaque or combination of fats, cholesterol, and other substance in the artery walls. Ikalawa is yung myocardial infarction or MI. Means the damaged heart muscle. It usually caused by blood clot naman. And then thirdly is the ischemia. This is the medical term used when heart muscle does not get enough oxygen. So ischemia naman po kapag yung heart natin is hindi nakakakuha ng enough oxygen. Now let's talk about the homeostasis. All of the systems that make up the animal's body have to work together to create stable internal environment for the body. The process by the body achieve this environment is known as homeostasis. Now, sa part ng human body natin, ang nagme-maintain talaga ng homeostasis natin is our hypothalamus. Si hypothalamus po, makikita siya or makita natin siya banda sa tenga ng ulo natin. So, which part of the brain that regulates the body blood pressure, hunger, temperature, tears, and other key function? Homeostatic mechanism regulates internal conditions that change due to external environment condition. So, homeostasis and the nervous system. Again po, pag sinabi po natin homeostasis, it maintains the constant optimal condition to ensure enzymes are working effectively and cells are functioning properly that are connected with the external or external environment na meron tayo. So blood sugar, glucose is the primary source of energy in human and it's very important for the normal functioning of the organs in the body such as brain and red blood cells. Kasi po, yung brain natin, kumukuha siya ng oxygen hindi naman direct sa lungs. Mismo, kumukuha siya ng oxygen mismo sa blood na napupunta sa brain natin. Now, si glucose po kasi, yan po ay monosaccharide. So, for example, kumain tayo ng carbohydrates foods. Ida-digest po yan ng katawan natin. I-intake muna natin using ingestion. Then, ida-digest siya using digestion process. And then, i-break down sa pancreas hanggang sa magkaroon tayo ng monosaccharide, which is yung glucose. Now, si glucose po, mas mabilis siyang natatransfer sa red blood vessels natin kasi po monosaccharide lang po siya. That is the simple unit of a sugar. So insulin is a hormone that regulates blood glucose level. Kapag mataas po ang sugar level natin sa dugo, tinatawag natin yon as hyperglycemia. Pag mababa naman po ang sugar level natin sa dugo, tinatawag natin siya as hypoglycemia. When a person skips a meal, the glucose level gets low. As glucose level decreases, the pancreas allows the alpha cell to release the hormones glucagon, which is, ito naman, yung magti-trigger out para ma-digest natin yung mga adipose tissues na meron tayo sa katawan. Sir, ano po ba nangyayari dun sa mga excess energy na hindi po nagagamit ng katawan natin? Definitely po, nagiging fats po siya or adipose tissues. So, for example, is the chitin. So, si chitin po ay napaka-importante niya kasi nag-a-act siya kapag, kunyari, nagkakaroon tayo ng skipping meals or nalilipasan tayo ng gutom. Siya yung nag-a-act para masabing busog na tayo kapag later on talaga or pag nalipasan tayo ng gutom, diba, minsan a few moments lang hindi na natin nararamdaman na gutom tayo because of chitin and glucagon which kino-convert nila si adipose tissues into energy. So kapag meron ng energy, definitely makakaramdam yung katawan natin na hindi na tayo nagugutom. So yun lang po yung pinaka-topic natin. And then reminders po with your PETA presentation. Since wala po tayong pasok ngayon, at the second day of this week po kayo magpe-present. Now, meron pong mga panelists na uupo sa presentation ninyo. So, be prepared po. I hope sa tagal po na binigay ko yung performance test ninyo is okay na po siya. So, yun lang po and then thank you.